too, bro. Super
Tell
interesting,
me.
super excited, super pumped, super grateful. Ready to go, ready to create, ready to make magic happen. It's magical.
Yes, it's uh, uh, what I always say about you. You are such a great example of being curious, being operating from high standards, and if you do that, everything on your road is good. And if it's not good, you 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 detect it very soon. And yeah, then the bullshit you put aside, and then you go on. So it's beautiful,
Yeah, you
but
make
it's
it good. You make it
you
good.
make you make it good, and it's because you're operating from out of your own values and your own truth, but being very curious in that. So you can make mistakes, but you're honest about your mistakes
Hmm.
because you're seeking the truth. And sometimes you think you know it, but then you learn something new, and then you know you don't know it, or knew it. And it's beautiful to be continuously in that state. And sometimes you get draw back. Hey, you have sometimes also experienced that, and then it's like riding a horse. You need to get back on the horse, and then it's good again. And it's beautiful that we can help each other.
I think this is the key of the I mean for me, this is the key of walking in empowerment. Because in the past, when I wasn't operating or creating from a place of being inspired, I would allow other people's limitations to limit me. But now,
Exactly.
because I'm consistently creating and I'm doing what's hard, things that people, it doesn't matter what they say, they don't know how deep I am and the magic that I'm creating behind the scenes. I mean, you do, but most people don't, and uh, so I don't care what they say.
But there is some challenge in that, because when you work in a team and your team is not up to speed with you, and you need to put them on the wagon, then you have a challenge to keep everybody on board while you're seeing what you see. Sometimes
Well,
I
for
find that challenging.
Well, for me, it becomes a self-reflection process. So it actually becomes a self-inquiry because what I realize is what I need to do is actually communicate more effectively with my team. So how can I have more one-on-ones with my team to see what their needs are? And as a result, encourage them to step into their discovery of possibility because as a result, they
Yeah,
will they will see that I really care for their needs because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
yeah, I see that. What I am, my personal experience is when then I'm getting into my head, and then you're dead, of course. And at the moment I don't know how to respond, but their only response is to ask what their needs are. That's the best response in that situation. So from their needs you find your own needs.
Right, because by getting clear on how you can support them,
They
by
get
me
clear how to
getting,
support me.
yeah,
Exactly.
because they're like, wow, he really cares about what I need.
And I still sometimes I see it as I don't know if it's ego or just I feel in my system some resistance. But
Resistance to
the
what?
way it's like that they hold you back. They hold you back. And they bring you down to their level of consciousness, and I don't want that. But I
No,
still want to serve them. I still want to serve them.
this is giving your power away. So when we
Exactly.
when we say that somebody is holding us back, it's because we are allowing that to happen. So
Exactly.
it's very important for you and I, especially in the state of awareness that we are operating in, to take responsibility of every single situation and conversation and know that it's all our mirror. It's all our teacher. It's all our everything that's inside of us. So if you are not liking the way a situation is being, you either get to do two things: focus on it directly and influence the decision, because the person that has the more beingness or the more expression of being in the present moment will be able to influence the behavior of the mirror in front of them or the mirrors in front of them. Or two, which is also a decision and a huge level of influence, is decide to leave. Decide to exit that situation, that environment, those people, because they are not serving the momentum in the way that you which want to operate in. And that is also, by the way, a huge decision, because the choice to say something and the choice to stay silent, the choice to be present or the choice to walk away, are both choices.
Yeah, and my natural escape when that happens is going to my head to think about the situation. And
So when
and
you
I'm
get into your head, when you get into your head, get pay attention to you getting into your head, and then all of a sudden start to feel in your body. What is your body telling? What is your physiology telling you? Because your physiology will communicate way more to you than your head ever can.
yeah, yeah, but then
Yep.
it's like uh, when you're aware of that, I'm getting annoyed of myself because you know what's happening, and um,
So
I don't want to
what's a
take
more
the. I don't,
empowering meaning? What's a more empowering meaning that you can give yourself? Could you be compassionate? Can you be understanding? Can you discover the place of grace of knowing that you're doing your best in that moment? And when you step into your head, be like, oh my goodness, I've been doing that for like, 50 years. I give myself some compassion and say, hey, and from that place you'll feel it. You'll feel like, wow, I was in my head again. I've been doing this for so many years. I've been passing that on
yeah,
to.
what's up again? Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you could do the whole thing and it's like, woo! No, no, no.
Yeah, because leaving is for me that's the last option I want to take. So I'm one. I want to serve. That's my goal. But sometimes leaving is good. But my natural state is to help people. So and when leaving, sometimes is leaving helping.
Yeah, but
Uh,
okay. Exactly.
but
So let me give you.
it's the exception, zeg maar, of the rule.
Right. So here's an example, and I want to give it to you because it's really important. Is when somebody is not in service to the greater whole and they're projecting some sort of power or ego onto you, those are the people, from my experience, that I choose to turn around and leave. I say, whatever, that's okay. If you want to be this power person or power hungry person with title and expression, or you need to be validated and things like this, that's okay. You go be validated by the people that will validate you. I'm gonna go that way because I choose not to play that game. I'm here to serve the people. It's not about me. And if you need to validate yourself to show the power that you have, then that's your decision. And I choose to operate from a place of looking after the greater whole versus just you as an individual.
Yeah, I understand. But these are situations that they don't challenge me, but they want me to do other things. So I need to be curious of their needs.
Hmm.
So I'm uh, I need to bring them up to speed how I look at the situation by first serving them, and they then understand them what their needs are, and then meet the needs because they're all coming from a good heart. So there's some lesson in it for me, because why do I um, uh, feel resistance in myself? But that's, I don't know. It's not ego, but it's I don't like people telling me what to do. Sometimes it's good um, to listen and see why they ask those questions, and from which position they to be curious, like you always say, and then see what their needs are and see if there's some alignment possible.
That's compassion, my bro. You're amazing.
Yeah, I just finished a coaching call with the result coaching, and we talked a little bit about the same. She spoke about the 7 steps to mastery, and it was so interesting because we need to have a discussion with one of our staffs, and just as you talk about this, how to really change people's behaviors, right?
Can you elaborate,
Do you hear
Jacob?
me?
We can hear you. Yeah. Can you
Yeah,
elaborate?
okay, perfect. Now I'm back. Yeah, so how to change people's behavior, and it was so good because she said like to first we need to ask open questions and try to understand their world, and uh, and really appreciate it as well, and stay connected. Then we need to get leverage, and leverage is you need to find the motivation in the person, and what you really need is you need the leverage to change them, and they will change if they feel pain if they don't change, and pleasure if they do. So we need to define the problem in a solution solvable term, so we can also track it. But for example, if her leverage is family, then we can say something like, if you want to support your family and you want to keep this job long term, you need to change your behavior, because if this doesn't change, it it really can't do, right? Or if the money is the motivation, you can just add like a small sum for each time she completes the task. And I think that was really valuable. So we're gonna have that discussion with her next week or this Friday. It's gonna be really interesting to see if we can manage to change it.
Well, you're influencing it because you're finding a solution right off the hop.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because like the instinct is to like to judge, right? But if you confront, she also said this, the coach, if you confront her, she will just defend herself. So you need to stay connected with her and show like you're working as a team and you want to find the solution. And also like, and I in some way I can agree with her, because if we don't set specific requirements, how can we want her to do specific things, right? And I think we missed that part.
Jacob, is this a nurse that you hired recently?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I think that's quite normal to any job that you join to have like a probation period anyway. So like, it's so you can, I feel like, if you do what you're saying and you just make it clear to her that we're doing our best to help you succeed on your probation period, but just leaving her very clear that, you also having boundaries and you're trying your best to support her, whatever it's important for her, whatever it is she needs you to do that. And to show you want her to succeed at the job and be happy at it. But at the same time, still making it clear that she's still in probation. You have to make it clear there's a probation period, and that she, you want to make sure that she achieves, the expectations, until then, and you do your best to help her in that endeavor. But you have to set your boundaries as well, because if after a while you keep insisting and the person is still not performing and you're just struggling, then you just have to have a backup, like you covered yourself as well, that you've done everything you could and you're doing all in the legal way. This is the
Yeah.
legal process.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we tracked her how many calls she made yesterday. She had a 40-minute window making calls. She made 4 calls.
And 3 didn't answer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I come from a
It
nurse's
sounds
background, and if I had if I've done 4 calls a day, I'll be sacked, I think, in a week or two. At the time, like, like if you work in a call center, like I did, with like expectation of something is stupid, like 50 to 100 calls a day or something like that, because the idea is there's so many that don't answer, or, and so on. Also a lot of time. So definitely definitely this is way below. But if she's a nurse, maybe selling, it's not really what she does.
She's really, really good at it.
Yeah, she's great.
She's best in our company too.
Yeah, because she has so much like proof because she's a nurse.
But if she is, but maybe she, like, some people are really good at it, but might not like it. Even though they're good at it. So you just I think that if you find what mostly motivates salespeople, that's generally speaking
money.
It's money.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if you like it or not, right? Not everybody's the same. It wasn't necessarily the same for me. Money was a consequence. But I could see after 15 years in that business, like in different business and everything else, I can see that the greatest majority of people, the motivation was money. So, but I feel like if you do what you said, you were saying, find what really is important for her. What is the leverage for her that will keep her motivated? Maybe there's something going on in her life that she's just too preoccupied or something. I don't like, you don't know. But I still think that you need to make it clear to cover yourself, especially because I know in Sweden they have very strict employment laws and things like that. So just once the person is there and you cannot get rid of the person and things like that.
Yeah, so we got that covered. We haven't, she's not in that type of contract, so we can just we just got 1 month to throw her out, really. It's that during the first year, so that's no rush. But yeah, I really agree with you. We need to find out, right?
Yeah. And one of my managers always told me that, the best salespeople were the most challenging ones to work with. So I'm not surprised, but at the same time, at some point you'll have to make a call. Like, you do so much effort as long as you can, but then after you have to make a call, and part of being the boss, it's doing what's needed to be done. It's not always the nicest thing. So I just think, like, either way, you also have to be preparing yourselves for all the scenarios, all the potential outcomes of the situation.
Yeah.
Be ready for it.
I like it. 'cause-
Including having a backup plan, like somebody else that can cover for her.
yeah, and I love how much we're learning from this experience. I think it's so good to learn. I mean, we're
Definitely.
gonna have more than one employee soon, I guess.
Because you're still in your 20s and it's pretty amazing what you've doing already so far. So, and it's all a journey and we're all learning.
Yeah,
So
really.
you only learn by doing, you learn by doing.
Yeah,
So, so
that's
yeah.
why I love
Yoda.
coaching. Then you can do the right thing faster.
And I wish, for all the amount of bullying I suffered, the amount of narcissistic management that I had, I really wish I had managers that were as caring and considerate as you guys. You're literally getting a coach and trying to see what's best to support her, and you find ways to better support her. This is amazing. Like you're
That's
already in
thanks.
this situation, you're already
Yeah,
doing it. Well,
that's
so
thanks
just
to you guys. Otherwise, we would just shout. What the fuck?
yeah. Well,
It's
That's
like every time we
so-
ask you for advice, it's like get curious. You gotta understand why.
exactly. And then you know what to do.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
support her or to fire her. Whatever.
yeah,
That's your decision.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I will try one this month too, maybe November too. And if it not works, then we have to do another decisions. Because it's
I mean, the team is only as strong as the weakest link.
yeah.
We gotta build a strong culture.
Yeah, you can only lead by example, and the most difficult decision as a manager is to let people go. Because you're putting so much effort into people, you get connected to them, and then your responsibility is to let them go. That's the decision you need to make. And when you're a supporter like you are, that's very difficult, but you need to do that sometimes in your life. Because when you hire people, you also need to fire people.
Yeah.
So one of the
And-
things I
and-
really, sorry, my apologies. I didn't mean to interrupt. My apologies. Go ahead.
And I've done that several times, and it still hurts. So be prepared for the soreness that it feels, but it's always the right decision, and mostly you take that decision too late. So you are together, so you can help keep your together your responsibility. So make a date in your agenda, then we make the decision, go or no go, and you will know what to do. You will know what to do. Put it in your agenda and let it go. Support her as good as you can, and then the time comes to make up the balance sheet, and it's good, bad, and then you make the decision, and you confront her immediately. So you tell her it's like a bad conversation. You always you punch first. So you're fired, and then wait. Need to sink in, and then you explain, and then you help her to her next job.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Ronald. I think we have to choose a date.
And I think it's only fair to also say, like, if you can't meet this requirement, like even 1 month before, to say, like, if you can't meet these requirements that are really specific and trackable, I mean, then we have a really good reason as well. Like we said, okay, we need you to do this and this and this and this. And if
but bring it in the not in the asking. We need you to do this. How can we support you to get you up to speed with this and this and this level?
Yeah.
Because maybe she's the best investment you ever make when you solve her problem not meeting the standard. And then you need to be curious.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Because otherwise you fill in the blanks for yourself, and you need to feel it and let her tell you that. And you will know when decision time comes what the decision will be. You will know.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't worry. Don't worry. And it will hurt.
Mm.
Don't worry. But it's
Yeah.
all in your head. The difficulty is in your head, because when you need to do such a terrible job like firing somebody, or you are a narcissist and you do that like fun, but most people that is hurt, you think about it all day, and that and you think about it, that's hurting also. So just
Yeah, yeah.
that's why I say put it in your agenda, a time and a moment to make that decision, so you can leave it there, and then you sit together. You said something, Gina will say something, Jacob will say something, you will come to a decision, and then you inform her about the decision right away.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
she isn't hanging, and when it's good, and when it's wrong. And then you
Yeah.
go on.
Yes.
Mm.
That's
So
true.
Eric, what did you want to say?
I was just going to add, because I agree with what you're sharing, Ronald. I was just going to add to that. One thing that I always operate from is the principles that guide me will be the ones that define me.
Mm.
So if there's a feeling where a person is not choosing to operate from the outstanding standards of principles that I hold for myself, then there is a dissonance that they are operating from, and I cannot, after 1, 2, or 3 times, keep tolerating it,
Mm.
because you get what you tolerate.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right.
That's true.
That's so true.
And by the way, this is the thing, is what I think, it's fascinating, because Ronald and I were talking about this before you all jumped on, is not lowering your standards because somebody else has a lower standard of operating. And
Mm.
this is actually a super important piece of the puzzle. We have to have compassion. It doesn't mean we get to be assholes and things like this, but what it means is that we still, there's a point in which we choose to show up in life. And if people are not willing to show up in that same state, or not curious to come down that same journey of discovery, we cannot force them, but we can let them go.
Mm. I have a question. She has a lot of headache, and I think why she doesn't do her best at work is because she has a lot of headache. And I don't know how to think about this part. I mean, she maybe no one wants to have headache, so it's not her choice to be sick.
Well, it is her
But
choice, because she's maybe not drinking enough water, or maybe she's not taking care of part of the thing. Like we can't, you have to remember, is like a headache comes from somewhere or something. It comes from not taking care of your health, or looking after yourself, or drinking enough water, or doing the things that are necessary. And she may have migraines. Okay, so where did those migraines come from? Getting curious where that stuff comes from. It's the body telling the person that there is something that is not being, it's communicating to the person that you are not taking care of yourself in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
And I mean, there are solutions.
I can
Mm.
comment on that, because I suffered for many years of migraine, so I can tell you. And also from my own training. So basically, there is all the physical things, that cause migraine, but there's also the emotional things that cause migraines. So the emotions that she's feeling is reflected on a migraine. It's coming out of her migraine. She might be might have a lot going on in her life. Maybe she just the job. Okay, there is that possibility too, because if she hates having to go to the job, she will get so much in her head that will get her headaches. For me, I can guarantee you, if I get angry with somebody, if I get genuinely to my core angry, I guarantee you I'll be 3 days in bed with migraines. So I always say that, stress and anger only hurts whoever feels it, because I feel it when I feel those emotions, right? So from a emotion perspective, so there's a lot of things that maybe she's been doing that, for having that for a long time, but you don't know what kind of trauma she had, what kind of history she had. But it's her responsibility to try to get answers and try to get better. So, for me, I have gone to work literally vomiting on the way in for migraines. And I'll make it if I had, I'll try to make it. I'll be there green, about to pass out, and I'll still be there. And I'll still do my best, right? So, to my own detriment, sometimes I look back and I say, maybe I shouldn't have done being so much. But I'm just saying, it really is. It's a self journey thing, and she's having migraines. Somebody can easily use that as an excuse as well, right? They just can't be bothered, and it's just a very easy excuse. So I feel like you hire somebody to help you to bring things, to remove some of the stress from your shoulders, and you hand it on, and you trust, and you pay the salary of that person to help you to improve and to add value. If the person is taking so much of your time and your focus and your energy and not performing at all, like not adding value to your team, you do need to revise that, because she's supposed to be adding value. And when you look at the constellation of your team as well, as you said, the team is only stronger as the weakest link. And also the motivation level, the performance of one person can so much impact the others in the team and can bring the whole team down. Because if you have other teammates, or look at you guys already so frustrated, if you have other people that work for you and see that you're accepting that low performance from the other person, they'll be like, okay, I'm going to perform super low as well. Or they'll get mad at you and resent because, you allowing that to happen and not having any consequence. So it's just so sometimes let somebody go is the best thing you can do for yourselves, but also for the person as well. Because the person needs to go through that. It's not the right job or not the right moment. So you think about that, it's not worth all this stress you're going through, honestly. There is always somebody else out there.
Yeah.
In Tony Robbins' way, you're saying fire her.
I have a question.
I mean, that's what Eric's also saying, it's from the beginning, if the person's not resonating, is not bringing in, think about it. It's like it's like any relationship. The beginning is when you make the most amount of effort to really want to conquer that person, right? So it's the honeymoon period. And if she's making that little effort already in the beginning, she's already telling you how it's going to be for the rest of it. Right? So just think about that.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I remember, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and then now again it's an issue. So clearly, I don't know how many times it's been happening, but people get a couple chances and then it's time to go. It's not like over and over unlimited chances. It's just not the way that life works, right? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, and that's it. Boom. And that's the way it goes. Yeah, I love it.
I totally agree.
One
with
thing,
you.
just wait. One thing I want to just emphasize, brother, is really own the space, and I really suggest maybe seeing, like maybe you need somebody like Tennessee around, who really understands people, is great at business development, you know, is able to support. Maybe this is something that can be advantageous in the way, you know, and really gets it. So, you know, she has a lot of wisdom. She really cares. She does really good with people. You know, maybe this is something that really emphasizes the, you know, the answer sits right in front of you sometimes, and we just need to observe it and pay attention.
Yeah.
Have to help do my sales background to put some good use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm happy to help, but like I know it's challenging to navigate
Mm.
people.
And I also see that I think why we tolerate maybe a little bit more than we should. I also see this as we're learning.
Yeah.
It's not
We're
easy.
learning so
It's not
much.
easy if you care.
No.
It's not
Leisure
easy.
narcissist, leisure narcissist is never going to be easy. So think
And
about it as a very positive. Think about yourself. You actually care.
yeah,
Right.
and I also learned like all these things on one person, then on 10 different people.
So
Yeah.
one of the things I really want to highlight here is because, you know, I've heard this a couple times now, including with some of my team, is that they choose to use the word "I'm learning" as a way to allow for bullshit language or things that are not at the highest level of standards. And so I've challenged, I said, hey, this is not about learning. This is about a decision to hold yourself accountable to the magic and the power that you deserve. So we are still operating at an outstanding level of standard. I don't care how much I'm learning. I'm learning at the highest fucking level of standards, meaning outstanding integrity. I'm not learning from the lowest standard of good, or what Tony calls good, or it's all right, you know. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. No. So again, really making sure that what do you want to learn from? Do you want to learn from outstanding? Not out fucking stand. Outstanding? Do you want to learn from outstanding, or do you want to learn from good? I'm good. I'm good.
I think you're right, but yes, and you're right. What I see is from I'm learning is that I think we haven't been able to communicate our standard to her, and if we haven't set specific requirements for her to do, how can she know that?
So let me ask you a question. Do you have those standards defined yourselves? Do you know the standards you want to keep?
Yeah, so we're kind of defining them now because we want everybody to make at least 40 calls a day.
And where did you get that number from?
So, I mean, that's a number from what I think we can do maybe in 1 hour. 40 calls. If people answer.
Okay, so there's a few things that you need to think about. Is we can do in a separate call anyway. Around the numbers is a very specific thing because it depends on how long to take the calls, the number of leads you have, you know, what kind of, you know, all of that kind of stuff, right? You know, so these things, you know, like you need to be measurable, it needs to be realistic, you know, and so on. Obviously, 4 calls, it's obviously way less than what it should be. But what I feel is, you know, when you're talking about standards, you know, like, and even like what Eric is saying, it's the outstanding standards. It's not just about the practicality of, oh, I have to make 20 calls a day or whatever. It's also about the attitude, it's how it's the energy, is how you show up, you know, and the respect you show, you know, the appreciation you show to be there, and how much you honor that position that you're in, and say, hey, I know I'm the face of your business for all those people I'm contacting, and I'm going to show up.
Did you ask about our standards, if you know our standards?
Yeah, so when you say you need to communicate your standards to them, you need to show to them what is the expectation, what is the standard you expect. Because it's
I mean,
also this thing you have to show up at, right? So that needs to be clear.
yeah, I mean, my standards for her is to like do her best at the job, and I mean, you do your best when you are using every hour in the job to doing something good, even it's just a little bit thing. So example is that she always sit at the room even when the patients are in the waiting room. So she just doesn't do anything in 20 minutes, and I don't like that 80 years woman sitting 20 minutes there. So it's about to do things easier for others and for yourself.
So Gina,
I just really want to highlight what I just heard here, because I think what I heard here, and Jacob, I think you need to hear this very clearly. So Tennessee asked about the standards, right? To you, it was about quality or quantity.
Quantity, yeah.
And to Gina, it was about quality. So this is very different standards, what you guys are both communicating, okay? You guys are both expecting different standards from a person. And it's important that you guys both have it clear amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
What these standards of outstanding is clear, because you guys, it sounds like, are communicating in two different ways. And Tennessee is really highlighting that, because she's seeing that there is a lot more value to the quantity of calls, which, by the way, there's 5 dimensions of capital or wealth. The first 4 are qualitative, and the last one is quantitative. So the first 4 are human capital, social capital, intellectual capital, and spiritual capital, which fundamentally comes down to then financial capital. So it's 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. And so it's super important that you both take the time after this call to understand what are those 4 essences of capital that you want out of this person, so that as a result, when people are there, when people are present, when people are when they're on the call, how are they showing up in their energy? Because that will naturally transmit the quantity of sales that you will also get.
Yeah. I mean, it's about to building relationship. To me, I
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, this is so important what Eric just said there. Like, it's super, super, super important, because if you're driven by numbers, you can drive the wrong behaviors, right?
Yep.
Like, just if that's your number one priority. Building the relationships is what is really going to grow your business. Is what going to turn around sales, and is going to have repeated customers if you need to, or most importantly, is what it's going to get a bunch of referrals, because those are free leads for you that you don't have to pay for it. These are the like free already pre-qualified leads that you have, because the quality and the overall customer experience before, during, and after their session there with you, it's super, super important. Sale doesn't finish as soon as they finish the treatment there and then go home. You know, a pause treatment check-in on them. How did it go? How was your experience in our clinic? Did you feel how's it going for you? You know, and then follow up with that. So that is, you know, so there's things that numbers don't really measure as such. You know, it's all around quality and relationship. And like, I don't say this like to brag myself, but I never made as many calls as everyone else, because I had higher talk time than everyone else, but I was also consistently the number one for over 15 years in all the companies I worked for, right? So because my focus was always being honest, respectful, and building the right relationships with the client. If that means to say, well, I don't think you actually fit for this treatment, or I don't think this thing here, this computer, you need that. Maybe this one will be doing fine for you, like a lower option, things like this. So that's how, like, like you can really expand, so it's just, and I was to be driven mad, like for managers with scripts that wanted us to follow scripts, like that made no sense for the markets we're working on, had to do 100 calls a day and things like this. And I said, well, but I'm still making all the sales more than everyone else, right? So, and that drove me bananas, like it drove me really, really crazy. When the manager gave me a high level guidance on what to expect and allow me to do the job, because I knew I was invested in it, I bought into their solution, I believed in it, so then I could do my job. I know not everybody's like this. Some people need to be pushed. But what I would say to you is, number one is, between the two of you, sit down and then just really work on this. What is our priority? What is the most important thing? What is our standard that we want to meet, that we want to follow? And that's setting the example. So be clear between the two of you, so then you can set the tone for the rest of the team. And then also, I would say, check on your intuition, because I think you know the answer for this whole thing. And you just avoid making the decision and the choice that it's already made within yourselves. So that will save a lot of time and energy from the two of you. You can use that productive thing and finding somebody that's more aligned. That's my suggestion to you.
Yeah, that's a good start, I think.
I personally feel like you already have somebody even more aligned and amazing sitting right in front of you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you, Tennessee.
You're welcome, guys.
And by the way, what's the best place to support each other is like in places like this, and then as a result, we get to create impact, be profitable, make money. Like that's the best way to support each other as a team, as a community, as a family anyways, is rising together in all of the, dimensions. And so it's interesting because literally what we just harmonized is the social, the human, the intellectual and spiritual capital in this component. And as a result, the financial capital will come. So it's interesting because I think that this is such a, everything is harmonizing itself and manifesting itself right in front of ourselves, which I can see it so clearly always. And it just blows my mind because in the present moment, so much magic happens for me. Which is probably why people think I'm crazy, because it's like, how is this happening? But it's all good. But this to me is really exciting part of our life, is that we get to experience it like this. So Tennessee, you're amazing. And by the way, Tennessee, I received the message or the email from you. Thank you for sending it out. I forwarded it to some of the guys we're in the middle of our capital raise right now, but I will definitely get some time to spend some time on it over the next couple of days, maybe after the weekend, because we got investors coming in from all over Europe and Houston on Friday to come and do some cool things. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, no problem. I just had to send because I was supposed to send after our call, so I got around it today.
Thank you.
And best of luck there this week.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just had a call with the whole group just before this, and everybody is really aligned, excited, pumped. It's going to be a big Friday. It's going to be an important day. So
that's good.
say a prayer for me.
Oh, you don't need you don't need that. Yeah, I'm sure you're very sure enough of yourself. So
Well, it's funny because
we'll keep
I'm
positive thoughts and sending you good
yeah,
energy.
like I'm not asking for permission anymore, you know? I'm not asking for permission anymore. I'm creating the space, and then I'm sharing my perspective, and then I'm asking for insight. There's a different level of communication that happens, and so I'm very grateful because yeah, it took a lot of self-work to discover this part of me. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm very grateful.
That's great. I'm just looking here now, and I'm just thinking as well, 'cause this week it's a full moon tomorrow in Aries, so playing around funny games. So talk about making decisions and and just the truth, like really just align with the truth. Nothing else will be accepted. So you guys, you will have to make your decision based on your truth, because nothing else will be accepted. And it's like, look, and like Eric just saying, just don't feel the need to get permission. Just be aligned and strong on your vision, and it's your baby, it's your business, it's your purpose, and you believe in it. So don't ask for permission. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Eric is a good example there. What he said, just follow that.
I think we have answer already. I think it's just a little tough decision to take, to just fire someone. I mean, she texted me just for 10 minutes ago that she's sick tomorrow too, headache again. So
Friday saying she have a headache tomorrow.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I mean, we have already the answer.
I don't think my brain works that way.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to be positive for next week, because I couldn't do my things this week because I needed to take patience.
Well, I just want to emphasize that that's the most important part, is being in the space of patience, because that's what's going to create a calm response. Things are not going to always go your way. That's why the internal work is so important as leaders. So whenever you're recognizing that it's taking away from the coherence of you operating with empowerment, you know that there's a block, and either you deal with it inside and figure out what's going on, which is what you're doing now by expressing it with us, and make a decision that's going to harmonize your space of peace. Because if you don't operate from a place of peace as a leader, you are incoherent and unable to really tap in to the space of heart's intention. And the heart's intention is to operate with ease and grace. And if it's not easy, and if it's not graceful, then there's something blocking that. And right now, if you're recognizing that because it keeps happening, what's the decision that you're willing to make to change from inside? And it sounds like you've made your decision. In fact, I believe the universe has, because it sent you a text message in the middle of our conversation about the problem. And so now you clearly created a solution in that moment.
Yeah. Beautiful.
While Eric was talking, what came to me is that sometimes we're so scared of change, or we stay in the comfort zone, or we stay within, that toxic kind of relationship in a way, even though it's short, it still is, because it's taking your peace away, and it's, taking your alignment away. So in order to invite more in, and to invite the good things in and the right things in, we need to let go of no longer serves us.
Mm,
You know, you
mm,
need to have that courage. You need to make the space,
Yeah.
basically, to allow for the right person, the right team to be built to get around. And as you said, like you're learning next time when you're hiring somebody, you know, trying to see their history a little bit, or trying to see their excitement about working with you, you know, and understand their beliefs, you know, see if it aligns with you guys, you know, that standard, you know, as I said, once you set your standards, will you meet those standards, you know? So from the beginning, you already have the clarity. And we'll invite the new in, you invite the right one in. Just, you know, make the space.
yeah.
This was beautiful. So beautiful.
Mm.
This was amazing. I look forward to hearing your biggest takeaways, Tennessee. Thank you for this wisdom, your grace. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have to run. I have a meeting right now, but yeah, I love watching all of this happen. It's just profound to see everyone's wisdom come to life in this space. And maybe next time you need to bring your interviewee on this call so that we just all interview them.
Not intimidating at all.
No, that would be really fun.
No, but
Amazing.
if it's in English, I can help you next time. There you go.
They're like, who
cut out the
are these people? They're like,
straight away.
it's our friend. Yeah.
If
Okay,
you
I love
guys
you
need
guys.
any help, just send me a message, yeah? That
Yeah,
would be
connect
great.
with Tennessee.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye, Ronan.